show.
Yeah.
That's that way in stand-up where you like write a bit and you're like, fuck, this is about somebody.
Yeah. And they're gonna know it.
My mom.
You can change the name or like the story a little bit. They're gonna know.
The first time I did Conan, I had jokes about my mom dating a lot when I was a kid, you know, being promiscuous. And I was like, I called her up and I was like, I have these jokes about you. And my mom was like, hey, I put you through it. If you're gonna write jokes about it. And I was like, sick. That's awesome. And then I've had friends where I write jokes and they're like, don't do that joke. I have a joke about my buddy having sex with like a drunk older lady, and I do it now. And he came and saw me, and he's like, "Hey, my wife's gonna be with me. Don't say the name of the hotel because she knows the hotel." And I was like, and then I'm on stage, and you're like, friendship fucking mode kicks in, and you're like, so I at the DoubleTree, like, that wasn't even it. Slap so much harder, but that's like, especially if you're in a relationship, because shit happens, and you're like, yo, this is super funny. Like I have a bit about a Bluetooth speaker, porn going over a Bluetooth speaker, and like it happened, and it was fucking crazy embarrassing during the pandemic. And then just one afternoon, I'm like sitting there playing video games, and Katie comes out to the living room, and she's like, you need to do that story as a bit. And I was like, for real? And she was like, yeah. And then it worked, and she would see it, and she's like, all right, it's just going to be weird when my parents are in the audience. Like, but you have to.
That's
like
harmless too, though. There's some ones where it's
but
like.
Those are the ones where you're like, hey, I have this joke where I say this, and you're like,
that's the gig,
when you
bro.
put it out,
That is the gig.
and then it comes to like, if they're like, no, you're like,
but I'm gonna do it anyway.
it fucking kills.
Like that, this is almost a like I'm asking permission / I'm telling you I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, like I had
and
my dad's whole family's like dead, so there's not really like a concern about it. So on my HBO special, I did a lot of jokes about my dad being dead from drinking and being a Jimmy Buffett fan, and how hilarious that is. And then I have this shithead half uncle who's not really in my life, and we kind of got into it on Facebook.
Oh fuck!
As ones to do.
On Facebook, like in the comments,
dude.
On the wall?
Commented on a photo that I was in with a family member. Some bullshit. I write back in the comment section, take it to messages, and we just fucking get into it.
when was this?
About a year ago.
About a year ago, you're getting into
bro,
Facebook,
dude.
Crazy.
Soder, that is so crazy. You of all people too. Like I feel like after you stop drinking and you have this perspective on life, and you have this very. And then you're on fucking Facebook Messenger arguing with your half uncle about your dead dad.
Like, first and
get
foremost,
out of here.
let me add, burying him. I fucking dropped bars that were so hard. I read it to my therapist, and my therapist was like, I was like old Drake. I was like old Drake reading it out of my BlackBerry, and he was like, oh fuck, oh yeah, he did do that. He did promise to take care of your animal, and fuck you. It was great, dude. I read that to him and my mom was like, oh,
bars,
come for the king. It was great.
He's him.
But
Soder's him.
It also aggravated me so much that I was constipated for a week. So if you saw me in Rochester recently, shout out, I couldn't poop and I was putting suppositories up my butt. Just being like, fuck this dude. Fuck you, Uncle David.
Who really won then, bro?
Yeah, he did. Absolutely did.
Burying him? I don't know, man.
Yeah,
you haven't used suppositories. It's
wild. It's weird how your butt sucks it up like spaghetti. Your butt's like... Yeah, Jay said that happened, and I was like, no way. And then I did it, I was like, whoa, well, hello. And I'm not a finger in the ass guy. I'm not that at all. And so I was like, it got me to this point. It reminded me of this old Louis joke from Shameless, where he like talks about putting a opiate suppository up his ass, and he was like, it warmed his ass, and he's like, why am I not shoving everything up my ass?
I have been using HelloFresh for years, literally 4 years, 156 boxes. It is the best decision I've ever made. I don't have to go out to shop. I don't have to order unhealthy food. I don't have to take food forever to get to me. I cook it in 30 minutes and I'm done. It's delicious. It's the smartest thing you've ever done. Click the link in the description below. Join me. Get HelloFresh.
But I remember, like, dude, I was so constipated. It was after the Niners lost to the Rams in the NFC Championship game.
That's a perfect storm, man.
And I was
your
like
team
mad
losing,
about
your family's bugging.
I knew McDaniel was leaving the Niners. I didn't know, but I had a feeling McDaniel was leaving the Niners. So I was like, that was our last fucking shot. And then my uncle and I pop off at each other when I had food poisoning in Spokane. And I'm like, fuck it. And then, oh, dude, it was wild.
This is one of the worst weeks I've heard of your life.
Yeah.
And it's when you were sober.
I was dead sober. I was high.
I also tell you
so I
this-
thought about it more.
I'll tell you much, bro. If you didn't break and start drinking that week, you never will.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I legitimately being like, I got into the fight with him, I think, before the Niner game. And then the Niner game happened. I remember trying to shit after the Niner game. And also, like, when you live with someone and you're constipated, they hear you say shit that they should never hear you say. Where you're like, it was almost
Come
like,
on!
I go, come on! Yeah, you go, why? Just like that. Just like me in the bathroom for 20 minutes being like, just fucking, why?
I've had my head and my knees going, please, please, please.
Dude, grabbing the towel rack and being like, on a squatty potty, and being like, yeah, nothing.
Have you ever like kind of like
Yeah, touched it. Dude, I pulled it. I pulled one out in Rochester. By the way,
out, like-
for the record, not gratifying. When you
no,
pull
but you gotta
butt, when
do
you
what you
hold,
gotta do.
dude, yeah.
You gotta, sometimes
He's
I don't
gonna
go
boot.
in. I push. Yeah, he's gonna puke now. Yeah, there it goes. Just go. You're gonna puke. Just go.
Get it ready.
Yep.
Get it ready.
It's crazy every time, man.
Yeah, dude, pulling poop out of your butt.
I'll push it from the outside. Kinda. I don't go in. You go. I just kind
I'm
of
sweating. This guy's getting me to laugh so much. I'm fucking sweat.
It's almost like when a baby's in breach and they gotta like flip it around. Because
Yeah.
the problem is it's just not
Dude,
right.
also,
you
you're
know.
like, I didn't know I was shitting diamonds.
Yeah.
That's like hard. So firm. So fucking firm. But dude, then
I haven't had a fiber bar in like weeks. What the fuck is
and then
this?
I was drinking that like Miralax, you know, and I called the doctor and he's
Uh-huh.
like, dude, keep pounding it. And I came home from Rochester and that shit, when I hit that shit, I was like, it was like Jeff Daniels in Dumb and Dumber. I was like holding my legs up. I was like, oh.